Florentino Pérez is snatching Nico Williams right out from under Barça'S nose. Arsenal are already negotiating with Anthony Gordon. Is a shock move on the horizon? Inter are putting 60 million euros on the table for Barcelona's young talent. Liverpool are plotting a swoop for Ekitike, and Flick has finally revealed his plans at Barça. What's his decision? Okay, I'll admit it, I've run out of creative ways to end these intros. But my appetite for likes? Never. Hit that magical 400 and we'll dive into transfer sagas that, hopefully, are more original than my pleas. Arsenal's ambitions this summer are clear. Even the neighbour's cat could tell you they need squad depth, or the title will keep slipping away faster than payday cash. And it looks like Arteta'S cooking up a brilliant plan. He wants to bring in Anthony Gordon from Newcastle. Yeah, the same kid Newcastle paid £45 million for and now want a cool £80 million to let go. Not a bad bit of business, right? So, what's got Arteta so interested in Gordon? The guy can play on either wing, which makes him the perfect challenger for Saka and Martinelli, or at the very least, a quality backup if he can't beat them out. And let's be honest, Arsenal desperately need the competition. When Martinelli or Saka aren't firing, the attack just falls apart. Remember those games where nothing was working up front? Exactly. Nothing good happened. But it's not all sunshine with Gordon either. His form this season has been seriously underwhelming. He hasn't scored a single Premier League goal since January. And that's supposed to be worth £80 million? Sure, the potential is huge. He's fast, he can dribble. But right now his form is raising questions. That's the big dilemma. Is he really worth the price tag? Speaking of money, Newcastle have their own headaches. The Premier League's financial sustainability rules are pressing down on them hard. They'd rather keep Gordon, but they might not have a choice. Strictly business, buy for £45 million, sell for £80 million, almost double your money. Has St James's Park turned into a player trading platform? Eddie Howe loves Gordon and trusts him in key roles, and the fans adore him. But sometimes, balancing the books has to come first. And Arsenal aren't the only ones circling. Chelsea are quietly hanging around, looking for a solution on the left wing. Sancho and Mudryk have both given Maresca a headache, so Gordon could be exactly what they need. And let's not forget Liverpool. Gordon's a Merseyside lad, and Reds fans have always thought of him as one of their own. Can you imagine how they'll react if he joins one of their biggest rivals? So, what does Gordon think? Rumour has it he's happy to stay at Newcastle, but with the right offer from a top club, he's ready to pack his bags. And really, who would turn down a chance to play for a trophy-chasing side? But I've got to ask, is £80 million worth it for a player who's gone half a season without a goal? Sure, he's proven, he's quick and aggressive, and on his day he looks like a rocket ready to destroy any defense. But that price is steep, and the risks are massive. And since we're on the topic of loyalty, if you watch my videos all the time but still haven't subscribed, you're probably the kind of person who dates for years but never proposes. Or maybe you're just waiting for Newcastle to buy me for £80 million. Not happening! Subscribing is free and it makes my day. So don't be a non-subscriber. Join the Gunners on this channel. Bottom line, Arsenal could either pull off a brilliant deal and solve their wing problems, or just throw money out the window. What do you think? Should the Gunners really take such a big risk for Gordon? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I genuinely want to know. Anyone still surprised that the summer means another all-out hunt for goals? Here's your next hot ticket from the German transfer market. Hugo Ekitike, the guy who finally shook off the lost PSG talent tag and absolutely tore up the Bundesliga this season. 34 goals in 48 matches. Can we get a round of applause for those numbers? Even compared to Haaland, that's a serious haul. And just a year ago, Ekitike looked written off in Paris. Now the line for him starts at the Premier League door. Liverpool, Chelsea, even Arsenal are circling, not wanting to miss their shot. But right now, it looks like the Reds are making the quickest moves. Let's be real, their firepower up front has dipped. Nunez frustrates more than he scores, Jota streaky, and you can feel the question at Anfield. Do we actually have a guy who doesn't just fill the spot, but actually delivers when it counts? Ekitike looks like exactly that type. Young, hungry, and with a point to prove. Someone you don't want to mess with. But don't count Chelsea out either. In London, they know hope alone in Jackson won't get them far. They need another predator up top, some real competition in attack. And Ekitike isn't just a finisher. He can dribble, he's not afraid to take on defenders, and he causes real chaos in the box. That's the exact profile the Blues have been missing all season. And what about Arsenal? It's the same story. Jesus has basically taken up permanent residence in the treatment room, and the idea of landing a guy who bangs in close to 30 goals a season looks mighty appealing. Arteta isn't just after another option. He wants a legit leader for the attack. Ekitike could be the joker they couldn't find last summer. Then there's the price tag. For the 22-year-old Frenchman, Eintracht want at least 80 to 100 million euros. Not cheap for a player PSG were ready to write off just a year ago, right? So the real question, who's willing to roll the dice and drop that kind of cash? Chelsea and Liverpool can afford it, but will they actually go all the way? And the twist, Ekitike himself seems hungry for a shot at English football. The pull of the Premier League, testing himself against the best defenders. The chance to prove himself at the very top. But where will he be welcomed with open arms? At Anfield, where he could become the new fan favourite. Stamford Bridge, with a starting spot ready for a fresh star. Or the Emirates, where Arteta is desperate for an attacking upgrade. Personally, I think someone's hitting the jackpot here. It's just a matter of who pulls the trigger first. So here's one for the comments. Where would you like to see Ekitike land, and why should it be your club? Let's hear it. Look, it feels like Leverkusen are about to play their own version of Survivor, and Erik ten Hag is definitely making it to the final round. Apparently, Barça'S bosses were so impressed by Xabi Alonso's dramatic escape to Real Madrid that they're now set on bringing their own tactical mastermind to the Bundesliga. And really, who better for the job than the man who made waves first at Ajax and then at Old Trafford? Get ready. Erik ten Hag is already 1 foot in Germany. After talks with Barça'S higher-ups this week, the Dutchman has supposedly said he's ready for anything. Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? But in all seriousness, you can tell he's missing football and itching to get back to his tactics boards and marker pens. There was talk not long ago of a possible comeback show in Amsterdam, but it looks like Ajax have missed their own party this time. And what an epic return that could have been. Fans in tears, Ten Hag waving from the stands, everyone believing in magic again. But nope, instead, we're in for some good old-fashioned German football. Hard, tactical, and disciplined. Honestly, Ten Hag coming back to Germany is pure nostalgia, like queuing up an old playlist you haven't heard in 10 years. From 2013 to 2015, he managed Bayern Munich's second team, and now he's back in the Bundesliga as a bona fide guru. Bayern have big ambitions to become a serious powerhouse, and with Ten Hag, that's suddenly looking a lot more realistic. And have you noticed how fast these negotiations are moving? I remember United took half a year wrestling with the Ten Hag appointment. Here, 2 meetings, and they're already ready to hand him the pen. Looks like Leverkusen didn't want to mess around, straight out with the cash and a stack of fresh tactical sheets. What do you think? Can Ten Hag turn Bayer into a real German giant, or is he going to hit the same old roadblocks? Should be fascinating to watch. Drop your thoughts in the comments. No long-running drama this time. Barcelona and Hansi Flick have finally found common ground and extended his contract through 2027. And if you believe Fabrizio Romano, it all went down quietly. None of the usual show. Just paperwork signed in the office with Laporta, Deco, and the whole crew present. Everything by the book. Just like that, contract until 2026 suddenly became contract until 2027. The irony? Not so long ago, Laporta was playing it smart, telling everyone Flick doesn't do long-term deals, just let's try a year and see how it goes. Well, that 1 year just turned into 2. Classic Barcelona, always ready to surprise. To be fair, these short contracts aren't about some principle or strange terms, it's just that rumors have been swirling for a while that Flick is considering stepping away from coaching altogether and heading off to the Bavarian woods to pick mushrooms. So, he's not eager to tie himself or the club down for 5 years. Who knows, maybe he'll want a break, and this way, Barca won't be stuck paying out a massive buyout. It's a win-win. Barca doesn't risk the money, Flick doesn't feel trapped. Smart? Honestly, I think so. And let's be real, where would Barcelona be right now without this German? The season was, well, at the very least, lively. Sure, no European final, but in Spain. Flick squeezed every last drop out of this squad, bagged all the domestic trophies. When was the last time that happened? Barca have won the Champions League more often than they've pulled off a clean sweep at home. Plus, you could actually feel the emotion, the drive, that sense that rivals are starting to fear the Blaugrana again. When you think about it, Flick really has brought new life into the dressing room. You see it in the way the team plays, in the fans' reactions, even in Laporta and Deco, who are now practically begging him to stay another year or two. The only question, will Flick stick around in Catalonia for the long haul, or is he already counting down the days until a well-deserved break? Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll go check if anyone's already talking about extending him to 2028. Looks like Real Madrid have cracked open the ATM again and are ready for another transfer shopping spree. This time, their target is Enzo Fernandez from Chelsea. The same guy Chelsea shelled out a mind-blowing €121 million for, tying him down until 2032. Now that's what I call long-term planning. But Madrid have their own ideas, and according to reports from Argentina, Enzo is already out house hunting in the Spanish capital. Apparently, even his buddy Julian Alvarez from Atletico might have recommended a nice neighborhood, somewhere you can bump into Simeone over your morning coffee. Everything seems perfect, personal terms reportedly agreed, suitcases packed and ready. But here's the catch. Chelsea have zero intention of letting their midfielder go on the cheap. The Blues have already told Madrid, if you want our Argentine gem, be ready to write a hefty check. If €121 million already sounds crazy, you might as well close your banking app and look for a cheaper option. But let's be real, this is Real Madrid. When Pérez wants something, he'll empty his wallet right down to the last cent. Fernandez is genuinely seen as one of the best young midfielders in Europe, and Madrid see him as the perfect heir to Luka Modric. Enzo has it all: talent, technique, and the hunger to perform at the very highest level. And let's face it, there's nowhere higher than Real Madrid. But what about Chelsea? The Blues clearly don't want to lose a key player who's supposed to be the cornerstone of their long-term project. But honestly, what project is that exactly? This season's been so brilliant that fans are starting to forget what European nights look like. Maybe for Enzo, a move to Madrid is the only real shot at joining a club that actually knows how to win. So, Madrid need to prep a monster check and Chelsea need to hold on to their seats, because their Argentine star is likely to push for the move. Let's be real. South American players love Spain and rarely turn down a shot at Los Blancos. Isn't it every footballer's dream to step out at the Santiago Bernabeu in white and hear that Champions League anthem? But here's the real question. Will Real Madrid really go all in for this blockbuster transfer, or is this just another summer saga that fizzles out? What do you think? Will Enzo actually leave this summer, or will Chelsea manage to keep him? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Inter are back with another classic transfer master plan. The club is seriously ready to splash €60 million on Fermín López from Barcelona. Inzaghi clearly doesn't want to be left short in midfield again, especially with Mkhitaryan turning 36 and his contract about to expire. Basically, Inter are on the hunt for their new Mkhitaryan, younger, Spanish passport and hungry to prove himself. Fermín López is the guy who made headlines in the Champions League semi-final, and since then, scouts from all over Europe have been scribbling his name in their notebooks. But it's Inter who've really stepped up their interest. They need a fresh engine for the midfield, with a long season ahead and the race for trophies getting tougher every year. Here's the interesting part. Barcelona are sweating over financial fair play and salary caps, so while they're not eager to lose their talent, they definitely know how to count their money. €60 million is the minimum price just to even start the conversation. Under Flick, Fermín isn't always a guaranteed starter, but he's racked up 8 goals and 9 assists in 45 games. Not bad at all. Honestly, Barça's bench is stacked with players who'd be instant starters anywhere else. López is the definition of a utility player. He can come on and plug any gap, fill in for Dani Olmo, play box to box, or push forward into the attack. No wonder Inter fans are buzzing about the possibility. They've been waiting for a signing like this for a while. The real question, will Fermín actually want to swap sunny Catalonia for gritty Milan? Not every young Spanish player is up for that challenge. Official talks haven't started yet, but the transfer window hasn't even opened. Let's see if Italy is about to start raiding talent from Camp Nou again. So, what do you think? Will Inter really go for this deal, or is this just another summer drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If anyone knows how to stir up the transfer market, it's Florentino Pérez. Just when you think Real Madrid have signed or renewed everyone they possibly could, Don Florentino cracks open the war chest again. This time, he's not after some superstar with a world-famous name, but instead, he's targeting Athletic Bilbao's Nico Williams, the younger Williams brother that Barça chased all last year and still came up empty-handed. According to Marca, Real are ready to drop a whopping 58 million euros for Nico. Pretty serious money, right? Especially when you consider how he was putting in top performances last season. Everyone was sure Spanish football had a new star in the making. But this season, let's be honest, it's been a struggle. Injuries, a dip in form, all kinds of setbacks. Just didn't click. But Madrid seem convinced he'll soon be flying up and down the wing again, leaving defenders in the dust. So why does Real even need another winger? Well, here's where things get interesting. If Nico actually arrives at the Bernabeu, it means someone's packing their bags. Rodrigo, you getting nervous yet? And this isn't just speculation. He's the main candidate to be shown the door if this deal goes through. Tough for Rodrigo, but hey, football is ruthless. You all know that. And there's more to this transfer than just footballing talent. Williams is a media star. He's young, Spanish, full of personality, and he could easily become the new face of the team. Pérez knows exactly how to sell shirts and generate hype. Plus, Nico's versatility adds a ton of options for the attack. He can play on either wing. Wherever you need him, he'll deliver. Another fun fact: Nico could have joined a top club earlier. Barcelona nearly brought him to Camp Nou after his standout Euros in Germany. The talks were pretty advanced, but at the last minute Nico said, "Nah, I'll give it another season with Valverde." Now the Catalans are kicking themselves, and Pérez is lining up his next transfer checkmate. Talk about poetic, right? So, what do you think of this Real Madrid move? Can Nico really replace Rodrigo, or should Los Blancos be looking elsewhere? Drop your opinions in the comments.